It is spinning out of control all week, forcing President Trump to correct the record on Twitter, writing, quote, "Do you believe that the fake news media is pushing hard on a story that I'm going to replace the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, with EPA Chief Scott Pruitt, who is doing a great job but is totally under siege?" Do people really believe this stuff? So much of the media is dishonest and corrupt. Now, this morning, the White House Correspondents Association announced President Trump is not going to be attending their annual dinner. But is this a shock? After all, here's a small sampling of how the media in this country has covered this president in just the past few days. Take a look.
Our president is a useful idiot, referred to, by the way, on Russian state media all the time as our president, meaning Russia's president. He is a useful idiot for Russia's aims at undermining our democratic institutions.
You have to have credibility, and this White House doesn't have a lot of credibility because they've turned around on almost everything they've said in the past.
He's as dismissive of truth as he is of ethics. We go on and on and on. And I'm sad to say that it also can lead to the diminishment of democracy, if not its death.
What I see happening here is the president is setting up the defense that Cohen was sort of his minister of disgruntled mistresses.
Yeah, let's not talk about North Korea. Let's not talk about China, the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Let's not talk about peace in the Middle East. No. Or the great economic news we've been getting for now almost a year. Here with reaction, former Obama economic advisor Austin Goolsbee, Fox News contributor, former White House press secretary Ari Fleischer, and former deputy assistant to the president, Fox News national security strategist Sebastian Gorka. Ari, you're sort of in the middle here. I know you disagree with the president at times. I know you agree with him at times. George Bush, who you work for, he was attacked in a pretty unrelenting way. I was certainly no fan of Barack Obama's. Austin knows that well. But it's never been this bad. And you've made that observation yourself.
Yeah, the vitriol, the outright hostility, just the personalization of the attacks against Donald Trump. And the thing about it, Sean, it's similar sounds to what the press did during the campaign when they underestimated Donald Trump and therefore half the country. And they haven't learned from those lessons. Now, I just think the press would be so much better off if they dropped the vitriol and just start to understand who he is, why he does what he does, and to cover him because he's an outsider. But there's so much part of the establishment, it's very hard for them to break those traditions.
You know, I always went very hard because I disagreed, Austin, with the president's policies. President Obama, I know you like him. I give you his economic statistics almost every time you're on, but I'm not going to go there. The only time I really went after Michelle Obama is when she injected herself into the political arena. I can't believe anybody in this country, especially a first lady or running for president at the time, would be saying, for the first time in my adult life, I am proud of my country. That's very different than the attacks on Melania Trump reading a book to kids. English is her fifth language, and she is being attacked the way she is being attacked.
Well, look, she shouldn't be being attacked. You know, if you had it to do over, you might not have had that one foray into going after Michelle Obama. You mostly talked about the president, not the first lady. I agree with you.
For the first time in my adult life?
The family shouldn't really be the subject. Now, I don't think the president ought to be attaching himself here to Scott Pruitt, though. I mean, you got a case where he's got a cabinet official that seems to be abusing the power of his office for his own personal benefit. If I were advising the president, I know he's your friend, you should be telling him to get as far away from that as he can, because I don't think Scott Pruitt is going to be in his job.
Dr. Gorka, I want to stay focused here. The reason I am laying down a gauntlet on this show tonight, as hard as I am tonight, is that this is now every single day. They want to not just delegitimize a president, disagree with the president. There's nothing, Dr. Gorka, in the minds of people on the left that Donald Trump can do right.
Absolutely not. You'd think they'd learned their lesson on the day of the election, Sean, when the whole left-wing media, without exception, said that Hillary Clinton will be the president. Instead of learning from just how wrong they got it, they doubled down. And we've now experienced a year and a half of persistent lying. When they go on national television and simply lie about the administration, about what they're doing. Look, the Pew polling company, is not exactly an arch conservative polling company. When they say that the mainstream media has a 5% positive coverage of the president after the last year and a half, you know they've got a problem, but they refuse to address it, and that's why CNN is at the bottom. That's why Anderson Cooper is failing. That's why nobody laughs at Kimmel's jokes, and he's not even making the grade. They're just not learning. They're doubling down. But the good news is, Sean, they're making themselves totally irrelevant.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so Ari, maybe in a sense, I think Dr. Gorka is right, but it's sort of cumulative. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm a little island here in the news media landscape. I'm not exactly in the majority in my opinions, but it's almost like nobody even wants to give this guy an opportunity. Nobody sees 3 million jobs being created as a good thing, or lowering taxes as a good thing, or securing the border even. I just don't understand. If you were Kate Steinle's mother or father, wouldn't you think that this is an important thing to do?
Yeah, there is such a break in this country now between what is the definition of news if you're a conservative and the definition of news if you're a liberal. And liberal really does include so much of the mainstream media, and especially their top editors and producers who drive so much of this. But Sean, the bigger point here is I've heard reporters say so many times, if the Democrats complain about what we're doing and the Republicans complain, we must be doing something right. And I'm here to tell you that when all your customers are saying you're doing something wrong, then you're going out of business. And that's the problem with the press. They are becoming valid only to an increasingly small slice of America. And that slice reinforces what it thinks when they read these outlets, and they just can't stand Donald Trump. We all as a nation would be so much better off if the press just told the news, reported the facts straight down the middle.
Good discussion tonight. We appreciate it. When we come back, Roseanne Barr, her success is sending shockwaves through the left. Now, this comes as yet another TV show takes a nasty swipe at Vice President Mike Pence and even his wife, Karen, as we continue on the special edition of Hannity.